G'day, David.
Hello, Daniel. How are you?
Oh, living the dream. Yeah.
Pretty good. Yeah, pretty good. Just
Yeah.
watching the FIFA AI agents go through some of their refined training.
Oh, yeah. How's that going?
Yeah, it's good. It's really interesting to see them go from like rough models to pretty competent little players.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like really at the start when they start learning, and they're like, "What do we do? What do we do?"
It's scared of the ball. No, I don't want to touch it.
It's
So
spooky,
bad's gonna
dude.
happen.
Yeah, it's scary. G'day, Phil. Oh, he is deafened. That's not server wide, is it? No. Okay.
GM team.
G'day.
Yo,
Welcome.
how's it going, Phil?
It's going well, my friend. It's going well. How goes it at your end?
Pretty good. As saying to Daniel, just watching some of the FIFA training refinement videos.
Fun. Some alpha in there, my friend. Some alpha for sure.
There's, I don't know. Everybody. I think everybody can assume at this point there's going to be AI in the FIFA game.
Maybe not alpha, just excitement.
Yeah, that's looking pretty good. Just having the superpowers sort of tweaked.
Yeah,
that
nice.
might be alpha.
That is, I think we've talked about it before, but I don't think in the context of FIFA. So maybe it is.
Yeah.
Oh well, that's fine. That's what you get when you come early to the AMA, you know.
A little bit of random banter.
Yeah, that's it. It's when
for the lulz.
Cool. So I'll just go over some housekeeping with the audience that's here at the moment. We have been collating a bunch of questions from the Discord. So we'll go through it after the AMA is over. And we'll try and create a document for anything that we do miss today, for things that we can answer. So if it doesn't get asked during the AMA by people on stage, then we'll take a look at it, talk to the powers that be, see what we can say, and get a doc out there to answer some more of the questions from the community, as I know there is a lot of people asking a lot of questions. So we'll try and address as much as we can today. But obviously there's only so much we can do within an hour from people asking questions on stage. But we might as well dive right into it. We're in the triple digits. I'm happy. So I will go ahead and just do a quick intro round table for anyone who's new here. I'm Dan. I host the AMAs as well as manage the support team. So if you do need someone to tell you to turn it off and back on again, I'm your guy. David, for anybody who doesn't know you, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, David McDonald, founder and CEO of Altered State Machine.
Cool, thank you. And Phil?
I'm Phil, Chief Partnerships Officer and co-founder at Altered State Machine.
Awesome. Thanks very much, guys. Keeping it nice and short and sweet. We got double founders in here today, which is pretty rare at this point, I think, to have more than one at a time. So it's a great opportunity to get your questions in.
Excitement.
Yeah. We do have a couple of announcements today. I will be announcing one thing at around about in 25 minutes or so. So make sure to keep an eye out for that one. But in the meantime, you can all start putting your hands up already. I think we're gonna dive straight into it. I'll give you guys an opportunity to say anything you want to say at the start. At this point though as well. David, is there anything you want to kick off with?
No, just welcome back to a new year. I hope everybody had some time to get a break over the holiday period. I think this is our first AMA this year, right?
It is indeed.
2023. So we're off to a pretty massive start in 2023 after a really interesting 22, especially the latter half of 22. We kind of expected that to come along at some point, but it doesn't sort of lessen the impact when industries get hit quite hard. But we were set up to survive it. We've learned some interesting lessons. We've seen some projects rise and fall, and we're still here, and we're not just still here. We're thriving and growing despite what happened last year. We've got a lot under development, as you know, with all the FUTUREVERSE stuff going along. You've probably heard rumors of the different projects and partnerships coming up for Altered State Machine and the FUTUREVERSE. Some of them are 100% correct. Some of them we'll have to wait and see. And we've got a big 2023 ahead of us. We've got a lot of stuff that got caught in the molasses of last year that we need to catch up on, and we need to make good on the work that the team's been working hard on over last year, and the pieces of project work that the community is expecting. I understand that some of it's been delayed, and that can be frustrating, but just want to assure everybody that we're still working on some of those pieces that you've been expecting. And once projects like FIFA and stuff are sort of the launch of that is wrapped up, things are going to get a little bit easier on some of those earlier projects. As I understand it as a little bit of a disruption to have a massive entity like FIFA come in and take up your entire development team, essentially a project like that. But I think we made sort of the call that long term that was going to be the best thing for our community and our platform, and to survive where everybody else is not at the moment, and to not just survive but thrive. So it's a little bit of an intro to 2023. I'm looking pretty optimistic this year. I've been pretty heads down with getting FUTUREVERSE done, sort of all set up and underway, and obviously FIFA and Muhammad Ali have been taking up a lot of my time. So I'm looking forward to getting some more time to get back into the community and spend time with you guys. And it's something that I've missed a little bit over the past few months. So yeah, let's crack on, get into it.
Awesome. Thanks very much. David, Phil, is there anything you want to kick off with, or should we just dive straight in?
No, let's jump in.
All right, I will invite our first speaker onto the stage. For those of you, for normal housekeeping, if you do get invited on the stage, please keep your microphone muted until I introduce you, just so we don't have people talking over each other. That would be great, but your hands can now go up. Belly Rub Master, welcome to the stage. Your mic is still muted. Dun, dun, dun. No, not server muted. There
Apologies.
we go. That's all right. Welcome.
Thank you for the welcome. My apologies. I've been on Discord so long, I don't even know how to use it anymore. I have a real interest in the boxing game that's very impressive from you guys, the Next Legends. I am an investor in not just the boxers, but also the basically the bags. Okay. And so when it comes to the potential staking mechanism, if you will, which is what I understand the XRP network, is there a difference between the rarer version of the bag, which we would call the legacy bag, versus say the more common but still important, the freedom bag. And when it comes to the rewarding mechanism, in other words, if I want to stake one bag versus the other, is there going to be a difference in the rewards or potentially receiving, what is it, root token or whatnot? Then that's my general question.
Okay, yeah, I get what you're saying. So the migration of assets and the root rewards around that, we haven't planned for any distinction between the rarity levels for migrating the assets and the root rewards. The difference between the bags is going to be in the contents that comes out of them.
Okay, so that being said, say there's a revealing process through the interface of the locker room, if you will, and you have a rarer NFT on your hands. Does that then mean that the dynamics change? I can keep asking the version of what you're saying. When will we know what our NFT stakes a particular amount of root versus any other NFT? Maybe I'll put it that way.
So I'm going to avoid answering directly the when question, but okay. The root network is live now. The root token is in the last stages of going through all the legal review. We're not going to do stupid things with our tokens that end up rugging a project. So they go through pretty extensive legal review.
Sure.
That's not far off. And then following that, I think it was Aaron who said the migration, the TNL assets will be the first migration of assets onto the root network. So we're talking imminent timeframes. There's a team dedicated working on this, the root network core team. So they're not involved in other sort of disruptive projects like FIFA or anything like that. And that's imminent. as much as I can say.
Okay, fair enough. I think lastly, and thank you again so much for y'all's attention. I'm from Texas, so I do say y'all apparently. In other words, like, what would a new investor do to optimize buying NFTs for the next Legends to potentially optimize gaining the network token? Something like that.
So, have you been around here a little bit? We very much shy away from giving anything close to financial advice. So I would probably avoid going into too much detail about that. And personally, I'm in it to play the game, so I'm probably the wrong person to ask anyway. There are much smarter people in the community who can probably give you better insights into that question.
Understandable. No, I didn't want to like bug the panel so much, but those were my general questions, and thank you again for all of that.
All good. Thank you for the questions.
All the best.
Yeah.
Thanks very much, Belly Rub Master. I love saying that name. You know, it just gets me going. It's a great name to say on stage. Vulture, welcome to the stage, mate.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can.
Awesome. So sorry, I missed the initial few minutes of this, so apologies if this has already been asked, but again, I'm just very interested to hear about the kind of like progress with getting the app of the FIFA All-Stars kind of like certified on like iOS, or whether there's an Android release that we would expect first, or is there any kind of like movement on that regard? Because yeah, I mean, the World Cup ended and we're all, in a drought now.
Yeah, so really happy to talk about this. This has been my life for the past couple of months, as you can imagine. It is. Oh man, it's been a process. It is in submission at the moment. Apple's a little bit of a black box until it's gone into the void, and we're waiting for it to pop out the other end, and make any adjustments. We have decided that we will release Android first. So if there are any further delays with the Apple Store, we'll just go ahead with a Android soft launch. So we want to get it out as soon as possible. We're not that far away from doing that. Sort of tentative, the next kind of 4 to 5 weeks is where I'm aiming for a soft launch, but don't hold me to that. I was told not to give any dates at all, so I just broke that rule. But that process has been, it's been an interesting ride.
So fun, yeah. I can only imagine. Yeah, they're notoriously a little. I mean, I don't think they should have that kind of power, even though it is their ecosystem. But yeah, it's pretty ridiculous.
Oh, I 100% agree. It is.
Or it's just like, I guess you built all of the ecosystem, so I guess you can decide whatever you want if you're a free market person like that. But I don't know. Just seems to hinder, developers.
There comes to a point where you are too big to be able to make autonomous decisions like that, because they affect too many people. That's why there are antitrust laws and monopoly
it's worldwide
laws
too, right? It's not just it's not just the United States or anything. Exactly. I guess my follow up to that would be like, again, I'm very interested again getting it into people's hands so they can play the game and start understanding how the AFAs will work and hopefully bridge them over eventually. But I guess from the perspective of people who are harvesting Asto energy, I'm just wondering, can you give us any more insight into kind of how that kind of mechanism would work for, like, say I have 100 million Asto and someone else has like 1 billion Asto energy, let's say, and we both go like, hey, I want to switch some of my energy to the LP. Like, is there any sort of preference, or how do we get in an orderly line up to kind of like get the LP, or is it like, I just don't understand how that would work, I guess, at this current stage.
Yeah, it's an interesting challenge that the teams are working on, and I think it's something that we're going to need to evolve over time with the community. So we're going to start off small with the what we're calling the Linares machine game. So the Linares machine game is about filling these void protocols with Asto energy, and then what pops out the other end is some rewards for doing so. The mechanism we're doing that is going to be start off in batches, starting small. We'll get some information of how the community is interacting from that, and then we can adjust our approach. I don't think there is necessarily a silver bullet to this, and I think it's gonna need some tweaking over time.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, well, I'm excited to play around with it, whatever happens. And I guess just one last shot at getting some alpha, but I'm just wondering, when we do have root up and running and we can start bridging things over, can you confirm or deny that Thingy art will be part of the pieces of assets that might get a root benefit?
Now, I just want to be very clear on this one. This is not me being coy. I literally have no idea on that one. That might be better off asking Aaron, I think.
Yeah. It is a FUTUREVERSE asset, so,
Yeah, I mean,
it's worth it.
That's what I reckon. But then again, I'm not making the decision on that one.
All right. Cheers, everyone.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks.
Awesome. Thanks very much, Vulture, for your questions. I will add the next person on stage. Savon, welcome to the stage. I can see they're on mobile, so the mute button sometimes gets hard to find. There we go. Welcome. Nope. They're unmuted. God love trying to use Discord on your phone. Savon, I might add someone else, and then I'll keep you on stage so you can troubleshoot. And then if you get it working, you can speak after JJ. Welcome to the stage, JJ.
Hey guys, can you hear me? Check.
We can.
It's,
Awesome. Great to hear all your voices. I feel like it's been so long since we've had one
I
of
know,
these.
right?
Yeah.
It has. Well, it's been like. When was the last one? Oh no, it hasn't actually been that long. It feels like 6 months, but it's probably been a month.
It's been about 6 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I was. They took my thunder. I was gonna ask David to give us some alpha that will help pump our asto bags, but that was already asked. So I was curious, David, if you could give us any kind of update, thoughts on the genome mapping event.
Good question. Do you know when that is scheduled to be done, Dan?
I know.
I've seen the latest prototype and approved it. I'll have to get back to you on that one. Can I put a pin in that one, and then maybe we do a post in Settle World, or answer it in the questions after.
I've added it to the list of answer in the doc.
Okay. Was it Lenny who was project managing that one?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll check with. Yeah, check
Okay.
with Lenny. Yep.
Cool.
Sorry, man.
Awesome. Yeah, and not real question, but just wanted to reverberate that the video chat with the development team on the next Legends was awesome, and it was really cool to get a kind of a partial inside look to the interface and how things will work or might work, and real excited to start playing.
Yeah, I'm really excited about the innovations that have gone into making the next Legends. It's kind of the original dream sort of manifest. It's one of those things where you kind of come up with an idea and you think, okay, maybe 3 or 4 steps down the path, maybe this idea can evolve into this. And Next Legends is kind of the stuff that's been invented for that is kind of the first look into some of that, third and fourth horizon stuff that I was kind of dreaming about a few years ago. And to see it kind of start to come together is really encouraging.
Awesome. And my last bit, I think, and then I'll step away. I know we can't get into too much detail, but are the Buzzies set up in a way where they have artificial intelligence similar to thingies, or totally different?
Yeah, good observation. Same but different. I know that's kind of confusing, but same idea, but maybe different purpose.
Sure. Cool. Well, yeah, my only other questions are when, so I'll just take a step back and look forward to all that's coming. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Thanks, Ray. Yep.
Awesome. Thanks very much. Savon, how is that microphone going? It's not coming through. Savon, if you put your question in text in the Ask Us Anything channel, I will ask it for you after the next caller. So I will do that. Cool. Zapda, welcome to the stage.
Hi guys, can you hear me okay?
Yep, we can hear you.
Yeah, cool. Excited to be here. Yeah, cool that Phil's here as well. I actually think that my first live AMA that I listened to over a year ago, Phil was part of and got me super pumped for ASM. So that's cool. But yeah, so I guess first question. So it seems like what's next on the horizon is obviously the FIFA AI League. And I was just wondering if you could tell us a bit more about the gameplay mechanics, and then how you're thinking about it of an app for Android and iOS. Is it going to be like a free-to-play app with downloads, or anything in that from the download perspective, and then just from a gameplay perspective, or some kind of exciting that we can look forward to.
Cutting out a little
Yeah.
bit there.
You've slightly gone underwater, zapped up, but from what I ascertained, it was information around the gameplay as well as app price and those sorts of questions around the FIFA app.
Yep. Sorry, I'm cutting out, but that's more
There
or
we
less.
go.
Yeah.
Cool.
So the gameplay is going to be basically a stripped down version of what you guys are sort of expecting with AFA, sort of angled towards a mobile casual game environment. It's novel, and we're gonna, it's a sort of first of its kind to ever be released, so it's going to be interesting to see the response we get to it. It's a similar but different approach to gamifying AI, and we think that it could be the basis for a whole bunch of experiences, including sort of merging it with existing concepts that we've talked about. So really keen to get some feedback on the gameplay once it's out. I won't go into too much detail because I kind of want to leave it as a surprise for people, and sort of gauge their genuine feedback when they get a chance to jump in and play it. As for the economics of the game, that is actively being worked on. Obviously, with the App Store submission, we've had to, very, very carefully navigate that arena and make sure that we are submitting something that has a chance of getting approved. So we've gone through a couple of iterations of this, and it's kind of, and it hasn't been formalized yet, but we're kind of sitting on the free to play with in-app purchases model as the best one to go forward with. But that won't be finalized until it's released, basically. So that's just a transparent update on where we stand. But yeah, really looking forward to having the game in people's hands and getting some feedback on it.
Yeah, awesome. Super excited as well. And then I just, the game itself is, do you expect there to be like a high skill cap, like someone that invests a lot of time to kind of learn about the game and kind of optimize their team to kind of, is there like a leaderboard system or like a ranking system, or in terms of being able, like, is there the opportunity to be quite competitive?
Yeah, so it'll be an ELO rating system, so similar to chess. So there'll be different sort of categories. So you can, so you're not sort of, when you're first jumping in, you're not playing against the top tier users, but you can move up the rankings, and the more effort you put in, the more you can move up those rankings.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And I mean, I was just looking at the website, the FIFA World Cup AI League, like the UI is so amazing, and like the design looks so good. So super excited for that. And obviously this is kind of like the taster for AFA, so even more excited for AFA. But yeah, kind of looking forward to it. I'll just say.
Likewise, looking forward to you guys' feedback, good or bad. It's going to be very valuable. Hopefully good. Like, I've been working my ass off to make sure it's good.
Hopefully good. Hopefully good.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. And then I guess last bit is Phil, is there anything you're able to comment just then what the design process has been like on the AI League?
David's probably best to take that one. To pitch it back to you, David, given you've been doing all the talking.
No, that's all right. This one's actually, Phil's been focused on the partnerships side pretty heavily, and I've probably been a bit more across the design than Phil typically has been in the past. So, I mean, that process has been it's been good, and thanks to Phil's amazing work working on the relationship with FIFA, we've had a really good feedback loop from them on the ideation and finalising a sign off on the designs and our ideas. So
Yeah, that's actually
been
worth
pretty smooth,
mentioning.
yeah.
They're a big they're a very, very big organisation, and they're awesome to work with. They're cool people. I think we want to give them big props in terms of being open to our ideas and the way they've worked with us. Big organisations can be quite prescriptive, and they're not like that. They're really forward-looking, and the conversations have been very two-way. We've really enjoyed it.
I think they've had a little. I mean, the whole world knows they've had a huge amount of changes very recently for many reasons that are good. And I think we've had sort of first-hand experience dealing with those changes, and they're in a very positive direction.
Yeah, they're a really different organisation than they were 4, 6, 8 years ago, and post Qatar, I think the world's going to see them change even more. And what we're seeing right inside the organisation at the highest level is a commitment to change and openness and fairness, which is just really cool. Can't say enough good things about FIFA, and I'm not just saying that because they're a customer.
Yeah, well, awesome, guys. Well, thanks for answering the questions, and super excited to start playing the game and battling you guys.
Likewise, can't wait to see you on the leaderboard. I'm probably usually. I mean, I didn't do too well on the prediction game, so hopefully I'm doing a little bit better in the actual AI
Neither
game.
did I, David. I got smoked. It's so competitive.
None of us did well.
I'm pretty happy.
It's further proof that the devs aren't doing anything behind the scenes.
yeah, we all lost.
Well, look forward with my 5 mythics to battle you guys. So.
Oh no.
Oh wow. Okay. Shit.
Oh no.
Cheeky brag. All right. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Awesome.
it.
Thanks very much, Septat. All right, I have been called out in the Discord that it has been 25 minutes, and I did say there would be an announcement of a competition during the AMA. So there will be details coming out in a post pretty much as I stop talking, so I won't talk for very long. But this will be a TNL competition. TNL is launching the design of the new exercise bike that will live inside the locker room. And I've seen the design. You're about to see it, and I'm going to say it looks amazing. The stylization of the locker room is really, really cool. It's got like a really old school vibe, which is awesome. The competition essentially is that you need to name this exercise bike. You need to give it a name. Because we like to go out to the community and ask them, basically, to see what you guys want to name things and what you think works best. So that post will be coming out imminently. You'll be able to post your submissions in the Next Legends chat by February the 1st. So it is not a long-standing competition. Simple rules: 1 submission per person, and the favorite submissions will be voted for by, I believe, David, to pick the winner. So all the pressure is now on you, David, and the winner will be receiving a Ascended Gen 2 brain handpicked for your boxer by Nico. So he will be picking what he believes best. And I believe it's gone out on the ASM Leaks channel right now. So that competition is now live, so get your submissions in. And also we had a secret competition going on during the AMA that one person who is listening would receive a Gen 2 brand. And that is Papa Bessie. So thanks for listening, Papa Bessies. You will, if you create a support ticket, the community community manager will get in contact with you through the ticket, and you have won a Gen 2 brain as well. So that's very cool. Sometimes we do secret comps. Just keep it a bit entertaining. But that leak has gone out now with that design of the exercise bike, and get your names in.
Okay, I haven't actually seen this before.
Yeah, it looks sick.
Fucking dope.
So is that your first view of the exercise bike, David?
That is the first time I've seen that.
Awesome. Yeah, it's pretty awesome, eh?
Very cool.
I love the ultra mechanistic versus wooden styles.
Yeah, it's a really cool amalgamation of two sort of styles coming together. It's really cool to look at. I think we got to start. Can we get that sort of stuff for our gym, David? Can we
I mean, I could build.
Get some wood in it. We could. Yeah, this is sick. We could build the gym.
Yeah,
make
with
IRL.
all the spare time I have.
Yeah, you have a lot of spare time.
So much.
But PJ, welcome to the stage.
Thank you. Happy New Year. Not too late to say that, guys.
Hey, bro. Happy New Year and Merry Christmas and all that. I hope you had a good one.
In a while. Yeah.
You can keep saying it till 31 Jan, Bill. That's the rules.
Is it?
Oh, is that so when we pay our tax in the UK, that's when we have to stop saying Happy New Year. That's good. That's good to know. Cool. So I just wanted to ask about. It's good that Phil's obviously on here because I guess it ties into the partnership. But obviously my understanding at the moment is that projects either have just a genome matrix or a brain that's locked to an asset, or a brain that can be switched in and out, like a Gen 2 or a Genesis brain. And I just wondered whether when you're talking to people, like the partnerships and you're developing with Taunt or with obviously Next Legends that's in-house, or Atom, or any of the other partnerships that we don't know about yet, whether they're all tending to go towards a particular direction. And obviously, because there's implications with what they do in respect to the value of Genesis brains, if the brains aren't interoperable, and the same kind of on a different vein with the ASTO, and whether all of the projects that use ASM's technology and AI, whether they all are forced or requested or prompted to have ASTO as their in-game currency, or whether that all changes with the FUTUREVERSE, blah, blah, blah. So just kind of more about that whole process. And tied in with that, obviously there's been hints of, and Aaron's talked about huge game studios. Are the huge game studios, or the studios that you're talking to about potential partnerships, are they driven more towards having control of that themselves rather than using our Genesis assets as part of their future? Sorry, long-winded, but
I might need to revisit with a couple of them, and Phil can probably jump in on a few of these as well. But I just want to say, as far as the protocol goes, you have to use ASTO. There's no way around it. So if anybody's working with Altered State Machine Protocol, ASTO has to be used.
Cool.
And with FUTUREVERSE, the use cases for ASTO are expanding, not reducing. It's one of the core resources within the ecosystem and within the games and worlds and experiences. So there's basically three core resources, and that's Root, ASTO, and Silo. So the three of them will be quite pivotal to the ecosystem going forward. The use of brains in use cases is very heavily encouraged to use Genesis and Gen 2 brains, the genome matrix spec. The thingy spec is an example of a sort of single use brain, and I don't think we're going to see that use case too often. If so, we're going to have to come up with ways of utilizing sort of Gen 2 brains and stuff in that process. But the majority use cases will be using Gen 2 and Genesis brains.
And that's even
Yeah.
with like big partnerships.
Yeah.
I think it's really helpful, PJ, to sort of understand broadly how our partnerships work in general. We have two very different types of partnerships, and they're both equally important for our vision. And there's the huge ones, of course, which are the FIFAs and the other. And I always have to check myself here because there are a whole bunch of others that I almost always say, but we haven't quite announced. But the FIFAs of the world, and then there are more the grassroots Web3 projects like Taunt and Crypto Walkers, and they are on the really big projects. Of course, we tend to be supporting these big global brands with our own resources, and we help them make a lot of the product decisions. So we have a lot of say over exactly how the Genesis brains and Gen 2 brains and genomes are used within the experiences in the game economies. The Web3 projects they're more like protocol customers. So as David says, if you're using the protocol, you have to be using Esto. But the way that they implement Genesis brains and Gen 2 brains will vary. And what we've really found encouraging actually is the range of ways in which those partner projects have sought to use it. And we have this recommendation, hey, you should make every brain interoperable right from the get-go. But they might not be in a technical position to do that because they have a technical roadmap that is, up to point A, and they need to be at point B before they can do that. So sometimes we'll find that they want to do something in a way with the genome, and then they might bring in full brain interoperability a little later. We have to be open to that because increasingly partners are going to be rolling into this platform as a self-service thing, as a very much an open Web3 product, and these are the first few that we're seeing coming through. But in the future, there'll be hundreds and thousands of these partnerships. So they'll be using the platform, the brains and the genomes in numerous different ways. And I just want to encourage everyone to understand that you will see the use cases being quite different in the first instance. And then as more dozens and hundreds of these partnerships roll out, you'll start to see very broad usage. So I hope that gives it some context.
Yeah, that's really helpful. Thanks, Phil. I think, is it just a little bit of, not alpha, but semi-alpha? What would you say is the growth, since you spoke 6 weeks ago, what's the growth been like for the partnerships, both in kind of inquiries, being able to properly process them, or actually sign partnerships? Is it sort of very measured, or, is it kind of multiple gold tiers with silver, bronze, or is it just focusing on kind of the middle level?
The inbound partnerships has been just increasing, increasing at a huge rate, and particularly with post the FIFA announcement.
Yeah, I think the ones that we've signed and yet to announce will kind of blow some minds. And Aaron will literally fire me, then bury me if I even hint at what they might be.
I know it's painful for all of you, and it's more painful for us because there are some things that we have been working on for over a year and deals that have actually been signed that we still can't quite talk about. So if you're tired of hearing us say, oh, we can't, we're looking forward to telling you, believe us, we feel you.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, guys. Yeah. And here's to an amazing 23. And thank you for answering my question.
Thanks, PJ. Always great to see you, mate.
Awesome. Thanks very much, PJ. And I am going to hand off the hosting job to our lovely Ice, as I have a doctor's appointment, unfortunately. Thank you,
Get
Ice,
well
for
soon.
covering for me. The alpha hunter himself will now look after you all.
And just
Thanks,
a little
man.
heads up, I'll have to jump off at the top of the hour as well. I have a partnership score.
Yeah, I've got a hard stop at 1 o'clock as well. So all right, let's get through some questions.
For a second, Dave, I thought you were going to leave and just leave me here up on my own.
Yeah, no, it's just Isaac. It's the Isaac quarter.
You got this, bro.
Thank you. Big love to everyone listening. I hope you've enjoyed what you've heard so far, because it's all downhill from here. No, I'm just kidding. Happy to be here. All right, let's get stuck in. Von Chaser, what is your question, my friend?
Hey, folks. Thanks for inviting me up to speak. Fairly new to the project. About a month in. A lot to read, a lot to learn. I'm curious about use cases. I've heard mention of like a training bot, and obviously a lot of mention of gaming. Can you train like a brain to have, memory trees in both use cases? Like, can I train the brain to have multiple use cases indefinitely?
Yep. Yeah, it's the way that they're designed is to be have composable elements, so that you can use more than one kind of AI in a scenario, and use your brains in more than one scenario. The reason for the genome matrix is to make sure there's consistency between those different use cases and different types of AI. So that's the kind of link between, say, a deep learning natural language processing model and a reinforcement model playing a game, or a GAN or a diffusion model making some art. They're all sort of anchored and centered around the genome matrix, which gives you consistent outputs.
Okay, wonderful. I appreciate that. That leads to the second question. Say I have an algorithm and I implemented some machine learning prior to having this brain. Am I able to implement things with this brain, or is that more something that you do with partnerships? Somebody would come to you guys and say, hey, I want my brain to work in this use case with this machine learning model and this algorithm.
So to begin with, we're doing things with partnerships, so that we create some really highly curated experiences and set up some really good examples of how to use it, and get the software out there and tweak it. The sort of next phase is to start working is to release the tools out to the wider community to start building their own experiences. The platform and protocol is designed to be a completely open and collaborative project where everybody can have access to build their own experiences on. But we're releasing that in phases. So first of all, it's first-party content, then it's partnerships, highly curated content, and then it's open. And by that point, we've got all the documentation in place, and we've got all the tools in place and refined to a point where we don't really have to step in and help people create using them.
Okay, and that's assuming a much longer term roadmap for the tools. Being that I do have an algorithm, and I am going to be implementing machine learning. I have a business that wants to. The business is myself, essentially. I'm an entrepreneur, but I'm trying to figure out how to use this in context of what I have already. Obviously, I love the games, and I have crypto walkers and seekers and ATEMs to play the games, but I'm also thinking of it in a different context as well. So the question with regards to that.
Feel free to reach out to Phil if you've got some ideas that you think are worthwhile potentially partnering around.
Yeah, hit us up, man. My email's on the public site, phil.williams@alphastate-machine.xyz. Love to hear.
Okay, yeah. This is, I'm dipping my feet in, but I definitely will to reach out with you. I am interested in this. This is I've been looking for this for a while. So thank you for your efforts and your responses, gentlemen. Thank you.
Awesome. Looking forward to
Appreciate it.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah, good to hear from you.
Take care.
Cheers for that, Von Chaser. And now a community OG, Tybo. Welcome to the stage.
Yo.
What's up?
I have two quick questions. Do we know much about Altered Phoenix, and will we hear more about what their involvement is with the Futureverse? Because it's sort of like it showed up, and I haven't really heard much from anyone really about it. If you can shine a light on it a little bit.
Yeah, I know a lot about them. They've been we've been working alongside them for a little while now. They have been a big part of what we've been doing with TNL, and I would expect to see more of them in reference to Futureverse going forward. There's some things that are in place that need to happen before any formal announcements are made. But yeah, we're working very closely with that team.
Okay, cool. I asked this in the last AMA, and I'm just not trying to badger you guys, but I'm just more curious. If the AI League is really imminent, I'm just curious to why we haven't been able to see some like teaser gameplay on it, and I wonder what the strategy is behind why we haven't seen anything yet.
That'll be coming out soon, but it's part of a wider marketing strategy where we don't want to start pushing that stuff out until it's ready. Alongside final touches and polish of gameplay haven't gone in to the final version yet. So we want to have that polish in place before we start releasing gameplay trailers, because they can go viral pretty quickly if somebody doesn't understand that it's development footage and sends that out to the on the Twitter sphere, saying, these guys are creating a crappy game, not understanding there's 3 or 4 steps of polish that needs to go on that before it's production ready. So I tend to be pretty careful with that stuff, especially in the gaming community. They can be pretty ruthless.
No, that makes a lot of sense. Appreciate everything that's being built for the ASM protocol, and I'm really looking forward to trying the game out when it comes. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. All good. Thanks, Ray.
Thank you, Tybo. And welcome to the stage, AC Grizzle.
Hey, first time, long time.
Hey.
I had a couple questions. One is about when the AFA game comes out, will we be able to play just like the auto battler, or will we be able to explore the world and like explore the full map? And then my second question is about what will be the experience like from me going from sitting in my burrow hanging out to going to an AFA stadium? How would I get from the burrow to the stadium? Would that be an in-world experience, or would that be just through a web browser?
So when the AFA game comes out, it'll be just centered around the football experience itself. As for the other questions, I think that's in context of the wider Futureverse worlds and spaces that are being built out, that incorporate elements like burrows and stadiums and sort of the characters and assets from around the Futureverse. But we're also expanding on that world building experience with some upcoming Futureverse level announcements. So there's not a lot of detail I can give you on the mechanics of that right now, because that's pending some announcements that are above my head. But they're all being thought of in context of each other and how they'll interweave into each other.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you.
All good. Thanks, mate. All right.
Awesome. Thank you for that. I think we've just got one more speaker, so let's make this one our last. Herman, welcome to the stage.
No pressure, Herman, but this better be a good question. It's the last one. Better be the best question of the AMA.
Oh no, I don't like the pressure. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, sweet. I want to chat about thingies quickly. What's the update there? Anything rolling out? I made the mistake of going to Mid-Journey, and it's hard to come back. So I know that there's a lot that Aaron has said that they can do, but I'm wondering, is it more of like just waiting for other announcements and things like that to come through before we can start taking these things from where they currently are at to, Mid-Journey level and beyond?
Yeah, so current capability is as good, if not better, than the likes of Mid-Journey, where the back end is. We have been working, the thing that we've been working on is a way to fairly include real human artists in the process, and we have a system coming out soon that achieves that in a much better way than anybody else is even attempting to do it at the moment. And it's possible because we're using systems designed to do exactly that, like blockchains. They're very good at creating trustless participation.
So once that's
all you guys
launched,
know.
Yeah. So once that's launched, I guess that's when the big green button goes. Like you push that and then everything is activated, or is it still going to be fed over like another 12 months type thing?
Probably not 12 months. We've got another 2 phases that are due to come out in sort of quick succession that are going to give you more functionality, sort of closer to what people have been experiencing, but thinking more along the lines of what's the long-term use and use cases around this kind of technology. So we're thinking more than just what has been released to date around AI art has been proofs of concept that people have been able to play with, and people have been doing some really cool and interesting things with it. But I think there's a lot more potential to the technology, and a lot more interesting ways we can create experiences around using it. Than just a text prompt machine. So we're doing a lot of that kind of thinking right now.
Okay, and one last quick question. Will there be a free, will there be a way for millions of people to access this, I guess, utility and stuff like thingies and stuff like that? Or is it always going to be gated through Esto and paying for it and things like that?
So it's likely Esto will be involved in one form or another, whether people know it or not, in anything altered state machine AI related. But the sort of mass market adoption of the technology is part of some of that product thinking that I was mentioning that we're doing right now. Is how can it be used in interesting and engaging ways that are useful for people, and thingies is a big part of that sort of use case, because we use it to tell stories and we use it to drive engagement into the world that the thingies live in. And that's just one example of using the technology in a more interesting way than just a text prompt machine. So we're going to continue driving down that route, but also releasing tools for people to do cool things with, like or even cooler things than what Midjourney and those sorts of programs can do, or platforms.
Yeah, great. Well, can't wait to showcase that. Obviously, there's so many thingies out there, different creators and stuff. Obviously, I'm Fairy Wing, so as much as we can, get on board and jump on that and start promoting and getting it out there, the better. So one last quick cheeky question: when do you reckon Fairy Wings could get her files to be able to do some animation?
I need to check in where that lands on the roadmap.
Okay, that'll be most appreciated.
Cool.
Thank you.
Awesome. Good questions.
Cool.
You did me proud.
Thanks, Herman.
That's
Thanks
all good.
for living up to the pressure. All right. That wraps up everything. Our first AMA of 2023. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. There were a whole bunch of spicy questions and tasty answers. Any parting words of wisdom before we say goodbye, David?
No, I think Dan mentioned if he'll try and capture any of the other questions that sort of fell through the cracks, and then we can make a post about answering them for everyone. But hopefully I'll see you guys soon on another AMA, maybe another couple of weeks. Yeah, this has been good. I want to get it back into a regular swing of doing these. It's one of the things that I missed over the break. So yeah, look forward to catching up more with you guys. Cheers.
See you, gang.
Awesome. Thank you. See you, guys. Thanks for tuning in.